It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show. With Mike Guido.
And here we go on a Monday. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, my producer. Great to have you in on a Monday, the day after Super Bowl Sunday. It's actually the, it's got to be now, what is it, the second anniversary? Wait a minute. So, hang on. Help me count this down a little bit, Evan. So, last Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl was Niners-Chiefs. Yeah. The last Super Bowl before that was Rams-Patriots. Yeah. The one before that was Eagles-Patriots. Patriots, right? Yeah. Okay. What was the one before that?
That was Falcons-Patriots.
That was Falcons-Patriots, Eagles-Patriots, Rams-Patriots.
Dude, okay, see, that's the thing, right? Isn't that's the thing? Where how many people came into the Super Bowl saying, wow.
All right, so who's going to play the Patriots this year?
Yeah, but it's like, Patriots weren't in the Super Bowl this year. It's like, well, it kind of felt weird, right, to say, oh, yeah, there's no Patriots this year.
No Patriots.
It was weird, or it was like a great feeling that there was no Patriots this year.
Yeah, well, so I started here.
You said the day after
the day after the Eagles beat it. Oh my God, I'm so tired I can't talk.
The Monday after the Super Bowl.
The day after Super Bowl Sunday was my first day here 2 years ago. So it was the day after Nick Foles and the Eagles beat the Patriots. The day after. So that's pretty crazy. How about that? Yeah?
There you go.
That's not bad, right?
Happy anniversary.
2 years ago,
I
started here with my buddy Tyler Harrison, who is a little bit of a knucklehead, but that's okay. I still love him. I saw him the other day. And I'm going to see him later this week also, due to our mandatory meeting on Thursday night, right? Mm-hmm. That's true.
So it's February 4th was Super Bowl 52. February 4th was Super Bowl 52, so that'd be February 5th. You popped up on this network.
That is true.
And I popped up on this network on October of 2018. It's like the day after. I mean,
so you've been here for.
It was the Monday after week 5 of the 2018 season.
Yeah, you've been here for almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been that long already.
I know. Can't believe we're doing this show for a year and a half. We're crazy.
It's nuts.
We're crazy.
I know. I know. And the lows that we've hit. It really is. It really does blow my mind. Oh, boy.
Remember when we started this? And we were thinking, let's try to get by this month and this day and this day. Let's try to get by the first week. Now it's, we've been doing this for a year and a half now. Now we're used to it. Now we're used to each other now.
Yeah.
Even though we were used to each other before, now we're really used to each other.
Now we're really, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Now we're really used to each other. That's the good one. Okay. So, wonder what that was. Never mind. Anyway.
I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask.
Okay. Bold Prediction Monday is today. I give you 3 bold predictions going forward into the future that will more than likely be wrong at the end of the show today. We got Ray and Zelowitz at 12:30. And we're going to have a pretty decent-sized show today. And obviously, we're going to start with this. So the Kansas City Chiefs, they win the Super Bowl 31-20 over the San Francisco 49ers. Ha! I was right. Mr. Defense wins championships.
Well, that's not. Well, hold on a minute.
Well.
I thought last Friday in your monologue, you were like, I don't know what's going to happen. I could be wrong. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know.
Yeah, you're right. We don't. But I was right.
I mean, it's not entirely true about the defense stuff, though. I mean, that when they made the stop after Pat Mahomes threw the second pick, that was huge. That was really big. And then they scored the touchdown after that, changed the entire complex of the game. And the Chiefs defense made another stop after that. Then they made the stop after the end. I mean, so it's not entirely true. Not entirely true.
Oh.
But that was it was a fantastic, in all seriousness, that was a fantastic comeback by Kansas City. Fantastic comeback with 6 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
You know, and I think now, I know we're talking about the Chiefs, but I want to if you flip it to the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan, that's 2 pretty bad Super Bowl collapses now in his resume. And that's, again, it's not, again, he's still a really good head football coach.
Yeah.
It's a bad look now on your resume.
I am not one of those guys that think that that's overly fair. I don't. Like, I think, that, like, the criticism of Kyle Shanahan, I guess, is fair, but at the same time, it's not. It really isn't. You know what I mean? Like, you can blame him for whatever you want in the Super Bowl with the Falcons, but this one I don't think was on Kyle Shanahan. I don't think this one was on him. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, this had way more to do with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl than the 49ers losing it. I really do believe that.
I would agree with that one. I would agree with that. But I also think Shanahan's mismanagement of the clock, mismanagement of timeouts, especially right before the half, I thought that was really, really killer. I thought that was really poor right before the half with 3 timeouts to go. Not really getting the running game, abandoning. I think he kind of fell away from his game plan down the stretch of the second half of the game when things were kind of unraveling. So I think he deserves. Don't get me wrong. Kansas City won this game because Andy Reid was a better coach. Pat Mahomes was the better quarterback. Their defense made big stops. Their defense made big stops when they had to. But I do think Shanahan. Again, it's just not a good look for your resume now.
I mean, Pat Mahomes was not.
Pat Mahomes was bad for about
3.5 quarters.
3.5 quarters, and then 3rd and 15. That Niners defense made one big mistake. 3rd and 15, Tyreek Hill is all the way down, is wide open.
What did I tell you?
That can't happen.
Tyreek Hill will take the top off this defense.
He was, I'll tell you.
The top off it.
You could make the case Tyreek Hill probably should have gotten the MVP. You could have made the case. Pat Mahomes well deserved the MVP, and I definitely thought it was the right decision.
But he was bad for
90%
of the game.
3.5 quarters of the game. Tyreek Hill was fantastic. Chris Jones was fantastic. There were a lot. Sammy Watkins, who Speedy predicted to win Super Bowl MVP on Friday, he had a real big afternoon.
Sammy Watkins had a really nice day. He had a really nice day. But so 31-20, Kansas City beats San Francisco in the Super Bowl. And I would say the majority of people were on the side of San Francisco. I think most people believed that they were the all-around better football team. And I don't necessarily think that you're wrong. I really do believe that you could have made a case for that. I want to give credit to Kansas City's defense because I think they did a nice job containing the run. And I think San Francisco's defense against the run was not great at all. Damian Williams had a field day.
Did I just hear you credit the Chiefs' defense? Oh my God.
I did.
Whoa. I gotta clean my ears
listen,
out now.
I can give credit where credit is due.
I gotta clean my ears out now.
But here's really where I want to go with this, because I don't think the most of this has to do with really in-depth, in-game analysis. The Super Bowl does not require this in this particular area. It just doesn't. So the way that I see this, the way that I see the Super Bowl breaking down is I was with a bunch of friends and I had a good time at my Super Bowl party. And I'm watching this game and I'm trying to break down, okay, what are the Chiefs doing wrong early in the game? You know, what are the Niners doing wrong late in the game? And I'll be honest with you. We can go in depth about mismanagement of timeouts. We can go in depth about Patrick Mahomes missing throws. We can go in depth about the 49ers getting a little bit conservative late in the game. We could talk about that, but I'm not going to. The reason is because I think that sometimes, in not just football, but in sports, I'll say perseverance and drive end up winning at the end of the day. I think that this game had a lot more to do about heart than strategy. I think this game had a lot more to do with, this had a very, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles feel to it. Okay, I don't think that this game was completely out of hand in one way or another. Okay, the Kansas City defense played good. The Kansas City offense played fine. The same thing with San Francisco. Their defense played good. I mean, Kansas City's defense, Patrick Mahomes, I don't think, played with a clean pocket all day. I'm serious. That pass rush was all over Patrick Mahomes. He got sacked 4 times. I mean, he was all over the place. It
was the toughest defense he's probably played in his entire career up to this point.
2 years. I don't think I would disagree with you. But, and San Francisco's offense was good early. And that's the thing, is there was no weakness in this game. And that's why I'm saying, when it comes to, what was the best Super Bowl scenario, this was probably it. This was the best Super Bowl scenario, and I think it turned out to be that way. I thought it was a phenomenal football game. I really do. I thought it was a phenomenal football game. But this just had a feeling of, well, that's football. That's the way the cookie crumbled. There is no, what did the Niners do wrong? No, this is no, what did the Chiefs do to catapult them over the top? It didn't feel like that. What this felt like was the Chiefs, at the end of the day, were just the better football team. And it might not have been that way all season, but they were better yesterday. They were better yesterday. And they earned every single inch of this win. They did. This was not something that, you can go crazy in depth. And to me, this was just Andy Reid getting his due, Patrick Mahomes playing good late, and that is the story of the game. There is no, offensive line this and defensive coordinator and scheme this. No, I'm not interested in that right now. What I am interested in is the plain and simple what I saw from yesterday. And what I saw from yesterday was the Chiefs won and the 49ers lost. And that's just the way it went. That's just how the football game turned out. But people are going to tell me, but Mike, tell me why. Why did the Chiefs win? Why did the Niners lose? I don't know. I think both teams played well. Neither one of them played great. I'll tell you that right now. Neither one of them played even nearly as good as they're capable of playing. But the Chiefs came out on the higher end. My guess, better coach, better quarterback. But, again, you got to look at it as this had way more to do with just that's the way that this game went rather than, what did the Chiefs do wrong? What did the 49ers do wrong? To be honest, I don't really know anything. I don't really know of anything that they specifically did wrong. Because I think that are there things that both teams could have done better? Yeah, absolutely. But the way that I saw it was it had way more to do with just the circumstance of the situation than anything else. Boy, oh boy. So Kansas City over San Francisco, 31-20 in the Super Bowl, in the most watched sporting event, the most watched, actually, television program in the United States all year. Nobody watches anything more one time than the Super Bowl every single year.
Oh,
No other show.
It's one game on Sunday for the for the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah.
a Super Bowl Sunday.
Isn't it like
Super Bowl Sunday is has been a big deal for pretty much since its inception, 1968.
Isn't second place on that list something really stupid? Isn't it like the finale of like The Bachelorette or something like that? Like it's something along those lines?
I don't know.
Oh, I'd love to find out. I'd love to find out.
If you look at the ratings, maybe you'll find out. But I don't know. But in terms of this game, I think it was also, when it's your time. We say it all the time. When it's your time, it's your time. When it's not, it's not. It was just Andy Reid's time. It was just the Chiefs' time.
That's what I think.
After 50 years, and I do think
he was just due.
I do love. Oh, he was after 20 years. My goodness, he was definitely due. And you're good on the. By the way, I'm gonna tip my cap to the Philadelphia Eagles. They posted a really cool thing, posted a really classy thing for Andy Reid yesterday. I thought that was really, 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 really cool and really, really classy on their part. That was really cool. We can dissect. We're going to dissect the game all the time. I love to dissect. I love to see what happened, what didn't happen. And I do think with San Francisco collapsing up 20-10 and not capitalize. I thought them not capitalizing after the Mahomes second interception was big. That was a tremendous stop by the Chiefs defense. Get the ball back to Mahomes. Tyreek Hill Robert Saleh said it a lot, right? That we can't make this into a track meet. That the Chiefs were we can't let these track runners, pretty much these speed demons, beat us. 3rd and 15, looked like you're about to get off the field. You just sacked Pat Mahomes, or I think they had a big stop before the play before. You let Tyreek Hill get past you. That just couldn't happen. Just couldn't happen. And now of course we're going to come out here questioning. Okay, what could the Niners have done better? What could they have thrown the ball better? Could they have thrown the ball better with Jimmy Garoppolo? Because Jimmy Garoppolo, for 3.5 quarters of the game, outplayed Pat Mahomes. He was fantastic. Jimmy Garoppolo for 3.5 quarters was really good, really good. Fourth quarter, things just unraveled for him. And it'll be interesting to look back and see what happened as we all do after the Super Bowl.
That's amazing. It's because Patrick Mahomes was bad for 3.5 quarters. Jimmy Garoppolo was exceptional for 3.5 quarters.
He was efficient. He was absolutely efficient for 3.5 quarters. It was efficient. It was really interesting to watch that unfold. And then,
did you think that was OPI on George Kittle?
No, I didn't. I mean, listen. I thought it was ticky-tacky. I thought if I was the ref, I probably wouldn't have called it. I know there was a play like that in the postseason earlier on that didn't get called. Again, that was certainly big on that part. Because, again, it's actually really weird. It's actually really interesting. Shanahan wasn't calling the timeouts right before the first half. And it looked like he was content with going to the locker room. But Garoppolo throws a short little check down pass. I think it was to Coleman. And he gets to the 49 or 45 yard line. All of a sudden, Niners have a shot to kick a field goal.
Right.
To go to the halftime. So it's like, oh, I think it was, I forgot who it was who got that big play. He just bailed out Kyle Shanahan. And then the play to Kittle happens, and you're thinking, oh, okay, now they really have a chance to score some points. And then obviously it got called back. Do I think it was penalty? No. Do you think it was? I kind of.
I do.
I kind of watched. I was like, I don't know if I would have called it.
So it was one of those calls where there isn't much there, but it's definitely a foul. That. Once you get that arm extended and you get that slight push on a guy, it might not have that big of an effect on the play, but you get that full arm extension, right? And you get that push, that slight push.
But I'll tell you who did that
That's
a lot.
it.
I'll tell you who did that a lot during his career. Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, yeah.
Gronk did that a lot during his career, and very rarely did it ever get called, or never even got called, period.
Yeah. Now, I think that the defensive pass interference on Travis Kelce in the end zone was clear-cut. That was a clear-cut DPI.
Oh, yeah.
Where he didn't turn around to contest. That was...
Yeah,
that was clear-cut DPI.
That I agree. That was definitely clear-cut defensive pass interference. That I agree with.
I think those two calls were the two calls that I think
in a game that wasn't really defined by penalties.
No, I thought it was a very well officiated game. I really do.
This game had. Oh, here we go. This game had, I think, a total of 5 penalties for the 49ers, 4 penalties for the Chiefs. So only really 9 penalties. Only 9 penalties thrown in this game. 5 for the Niners.
Yeah, there was like a 1 or 2 offsides. I think there were like 2 false starts.
It was back to back at one point. There was an offsides penalty,
and then it was an offside.
Offsides, false start and offsides on back to back plays.
So great, but I thought it was a. What did you think overall? I thought it was a great Super Bowl.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good Super Bowl. I had a lot of fun with it. I think the ending was also exciting. I thought the ending was interesting.
I was nervous, and I was sitting there on the edge of my seat, like this, probably for 3 straight hours. Like I was seriously, I was tense. I was nervous for 3 straight hours.
I think this Super Bowl was definitely a Super Bowl where I sat back and just enjoyed the game. I wasn't really stressed or going crazy. I just kind of sat back and watched. Like the last couple of Super Bowls with the Falcons and the Patriots, when that thing was going on, we were all going crazy. We couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah.
Falcons, the Eagles, and the Patriots. Again, we were all going crazy. We couldn't believe what was going on. This one was, even last year too. It was kind of, wondering, will the Rams figure this out? Can the Rams finally figure this out? With this Super Bowl, you sat back and enjoyed it. Like I kind of sat back and enjoyed this one.
Right.
And I thought we were treated to a very good game and a very good ending. For every fan except 49er fans. I know the 49er fan base and the 49er organization. Yeah, I think you look back on this season, you look back on the Super Bowl, and you say, we're going to be good. We're really good. We're going to be fine. We have our quarterback. We have a great defense. We have a good running game. We do have a good coach. But this Super Bowl is going to sting. This Super Bowl is going to really sting because you're going to look back and say, oh, boy, we had it. Like, if we didn't call the timeout, if we actually called timeouts before the half, if we capitalized after the Pat Mahomes second. It's not every year. Patrick Mahomes, you can make the case, hasn't had a bad game his entire career. Hasn't had a bad game in his entire career to this point. Yesterday, he was terrible. It's not, or at least for the majority of the game. For
the overwhelming majority of the game, Patrick Mahomes you saw a difference. The ball wasn't coming out of his hand.
He was wildly inaccurate. He was inaccurate on the second pass he threw.
He was inaccurate. The ball was coming out slower. Yeah. It seemed like late in the game, after he threw his second interception, it looked like he was aiming it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like it was interesting, really interesting.
And once he threw the second pick, again, the Chiefs defense held. They forced the punt. The Niners didn't score. If they scored a field goal, touchdown, I wouldn't say the game was over, but it certainly would have been harder for the Chiefs. It would have been way hard for the Chiefs to come back,
right.
And you could have made the case that if the Niners scored a touchdown after the second pick,
right.
Game was over. 27-10, defense playing great. Little under 9 or so minutes to go. It might be a little way too hard for the Chiefs to come back this time.
Right.
But the defense made a big stop. They got the ball back, made the one big play to Tyreek Hill, and they were off to the race from there. And for a football fan though, it was a great comeback. Mahomes winning a Super Bowl MVP. First two years in the NFL, you win MVP and Super Bowl MVP. I mean, that's impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, of course, gets his due finally after 21 years. Good for him. The Chiefs, after 50 years, they finally get their first Super Bowl. And again, isn't this a theme now? I keep saying it. This is such a theme now. Teams breaking droughts and winning championships. It's such a cool trend that's kind of going on right now in sports. Chiefs 50 years. The St. Louis Blues, the Nationals, the Cubs, the Red Sox,
right?
The Eagles. I can go on and on. The Cavs. I can go on and on. How many teams have won championships that have broken like big droughts or broken trends, winning their first? It's become a cool trend, and it gives you a fan. If you're a Jets fan, a Mets fan, it gives you hope. A Browns fan, it gives you hope that hey, that's going to be us one day.
I just noticed.
Us one day.
I noticed this last night too. There are a lot of teams that haven't won Super Bowls. A lot of them.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of them, Evan.
There's the Texans. There's the Titans. I'm just going off the top of my head. Texans, Titans. There's the Jaguars. There's the Browns. There's the Bengals, and that's the AFC North. And the AFC South, there's the Texans and Titans and the Jags. In the AFC, Colts have got 2 Super Bowls, one from Baltimore, one from Indy. In the AFC East, there's the Bills. They're the only one in the East. In the West, they all have Super Bowls now. Chiefs, they all have Super Bowls. Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos. Chargers. Oh, I was wrong.
Chargers don't have one.
Chargers. In the NFC East, they all have Super Bowls now. Eagles were the last one to get theirs.
All of them, yeah.
NFC North, Lions, Vikings. Vikings don't have one. Which is amazing. They went to 4 in the Bud Grant era, didn't get one. Obviously, they had a couple of NFC Championship heartbreakers. In the NFC West, the Cardinals have never won a Super Bowl. Rams have got 1. The Niners have got 5, and the
Seahawks have 2.
Seahawks have 1. They have 1.
1, yes. Sorry, with Wilson, yes.
They have 1. They've lost 2. Cardinals don't have 1. And in the South, there's
Carolina doesn't have one.
Carolina, Atlanta, and that's it.
Right. Saints and Bucks have both.
Saints and Bucks have 1 each.
So a lot of them.
It's a lot of them.
A lot of teams.
So that's fit, but it's also a test. It's also what it says about dynasties, right? The Steelers ruled the 70s, the Packers ruled the 60s, the Cowboys ruled the 90s, the Niners ruled the 80s, and the Patriots have ruled the last 20 years.
Right.
I mean, they've ruled the last 20 years, and even when they
is this possible that the Chiefs take over that?
I don't want to say that.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but
if we do but that's what was being brought up yesterday after they won, right? That was one of the first things that I was watching NFL Network after the game. One of the first things they brought up was, this is the new team, this is the new dynasty. This will be the first of many for Pat Mahomes. I don't want to say that now because I want to just savor the moment and see and because we said that a lot when the Packers won it, right?
But we got really Patrick Mahomes to start his career.
Oh, it's an amazing start.
I mean, he made it to the AFC Championship game last year and should have gone to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, offsides away from getting it.
Right, should have gone to the Super Bowl and then went to it this year and won it. The first 2 years of his career have to be if you put it up, and I don't know how other players have started their career specifically, but
Kurt Warner,
you put his first 2 years against any other quarterback's first 2 years, it's got to rank among the best of all time.
Tom Brady, when he became the starter in 2001, he won a Super Bowl. He won in his first 3 years. He won 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Kurt Warner, when he first became the starter in 1999, won an NFL MVP and a Super Bowl MVP the same year. I believe in 2001, I think he won the MVP award again. I think he did in 2001. But that for your first 2 years to win MVP and Super Bowl MVP in your first 2 years, I mean that's an incredible start. I think we all of us can agree that we think Pat Mahomes can certainly win multiple Super Bowls.
Oh, he's going to win multiple Super Bowls.
I don't want to I don't want to say this has to happen or it's going to happen because I never forget the Packers, right? When the Packers won in 2010, we all thought that's the first of 4, the first of 3, and they haven't gotten back since. It's extremely hard to get to a Super Bowl. It's harder to win a Super Bowl. It's even harder to get to a Super Bowl. I don't want to say I don't want to crown and say, Mahomes is definitely going to win 4, because it's extremely hard to get back and to win one.
Right.
We can only. I think for today, I want to enjoy it and I want to say, congratulations, Pat Mahomes. That was an amazing performance to win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
A first of what we hope is a first of many. We definitely.
No, you're right.
It's a first of many because we see it all the time. Packers won it. Oh, that's a first of 3 or 4. Oh, he's definitely going to win 4 or 5. They can win 8 Super Bowls.
Right.
Never haven't gone back. The Saints, when they won it, that's the first. Oh, they're going to win more. Haven't gone back since. It's really hard.
All right.
It's really hard.
All right.
When the Rams got there last year, I think a lot of us thought, they'll definitely be back. It's only been 1 year, but they missed the postseason this year. It's not easy.
Yeah, no. The NFL's the ultimate parity league, so it wouldn't surprise me if either one of those teams did make the playoffs next year. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Chiefs,
I would imagine the Chiefs probably will, because I think they are
the AFC's weaker than the NFC.
Well, the Chiefs are also they're definitely ahead of everybody else in their division. The Broncos have some ways to go. The Chargers took a big step back this year. They're getting a new quarterback, and the Raiders the Raiders are probably closest to the Chiefs because I actually like their roster, I like their culture, I like everything, but they're probably not there yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Coach, quarterback is going to be Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs for a while, for as long as and I'll be honest with you, they might be in good hands. The Chiefs might be in good hands after Andy Reid retires, also, because if time goes by and Eric Bieniemy doesn't get a job, and Eric Bieniemy becomes the new coach of the Chiefs, they'll be in good hands right there.
Well, I'll tell you, Bieniemy's resume got a lot better. You got to figure if he didn't get a coaching job this offseason, he'll definitely get one next offseason. His resume got bigger now that he's got a Super Bowl championship on his belt and a quarterback that he's helped coach as offensive coordinator to a Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. And also, again, what also helps is the Reid coaching tree is fantastic. We mentioned before.
Really good.
We mentioned before the couple of coaches.
Nagy, Peterson, Harbaugh.
Now Andy
One
Reid.
more. There was another one that we're missing. Nagy, Peterson, Harbaugh. There's one more.
McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, McDermott. And I think what's also great is that Andy Reid can now join some of his coaching tree guys with the Super Bowl guys like Harbaugh and Pearson. He can join them with the Super Bowl.
Right.
Finally, after 21 years.
It's amazing.
49ers, it's going to be a lot harder, especially in the division. Seattle will always be Seattle. As long as they got Russ and Pete Carroll there, a good foundation, a good build. They got such a good building over there. They're always going to be contenders for the division. The Rams, you got to figure.
How about them Cowboys?
You got to figure the Rams. We're talking about the division.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? The Rams, you got to figure will be back.
The Rams will be better next year. But
I'm a little concerned
they have
about
some
them.
clear holes though. They've got.
I'm concerned.
They have to fix that offensive line.
They do.
They gotta fix that offensive line.
I'm concerned about their old line. They're a little bit their defense in the middle of the field in the defense. I'm concerned about them, but again, you trust Sean McVay, you trust Jared Goff. I think Goff is going to be in line for a big bounce back year. Goff is going to hear the criticism.
I really never understood the Ramsey trade. Like that was them trying to just make some noise, and I didn't get it.
Put it this way. Now that the season is complete and it's over, and the bow is officially done on the season, the Ravens traded Marcus Pierce for a 5th-round draft pick, and he was fantastic. The Rams traded Ramsey for two first-round picks, and Ramsey gave up the big play that ended their season.
No.
So I'm not saying Ramsey's a bad player. He's certainly not a bad football player, but 2 first-round picks for Ramsey,
it's a lot.
It is a lot. It was a lot. It was certainly we got to go for a move. And I think that's fine. I think that's all great. And if you want to go for it, go for it. You just have to hope it works out. We'll see what happens with Jalen Ramsey in the free agency this offseason. But again, Eric DeCosta traded a 5th-round pick for Peters, and he was fantastic for the Ravens. He was fantastic. Got a big extension. So, but the Cardinals, I'm curious too. The Cardinals, you have to figure, are going to take a step up next year. And they're in year 2 with Murray and Kingsbury. How many wins they had? 5 or 6 this year?
Yeah, right.
They had a tie too with Detroit. I think they had 5 or 6 wins this year.
They had 5.
They had 5 and a tie with Detroit.
That's right.
So, it might be a little. It'll be tougher, more so for the Niners to win their division. I still think the Niners could make the playoffs, even as a wild card team. But it'll certainly the road to the playoffs is more tougher for the Niners than Kansas City. Kansas City, they're going to be the Class F division for a while, unless Oakland takes a big step up. Oakland's certainly the team that if they take a big step up, they can compete for this division.
Yeah,
that's Kansas City's division to lose every year. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's AFC East, where New England rules the division for 20 years, because again, I do think.
No,
Oakland,
I don't think I think that it's not like the AFC West.
I do think Oakland and Denver,
it doesn't have a future. I think Denver has a really good. I like Drew Lock a lot. I think Drew Lock's going to be a real good quarterback going forward. And I think the Broncos have legitimate direction. You know what I mean? So they already have they got 2 great pass rushers. They have a really good future number 1 wide receiver. Cortland Sutton's a number 1 wide receiver.
He's good.
Phillip Lindsay is a bell cow running back.
I'm very interested.
I think they're a left tackle away from having a really good offensive line. Garrett Bowles was killing them.
Awful.
So I think they're a good left tackle away from having a really good offensive line.
Biggest question for the Raiders, when I think of the Raiders, is Derek Carr. What's their future with what's your final?
It should be easy. Like, it really should be easy. Just move forward with that. Unless Derek Carr has a putrid season next year, because Derek Carr had a good year this year. He was good.
But now you see the reports, and I'll bring it up in the news segment, and we'll talk about it more in the news segment, that if Brady hits the market, they're going to go for him. And I think to myself,
God.
You got to be, quarterback is such a position where you got to be 1,000% committed in your guy.
I get it.
Derek, you got to be if you're not 1,000% committed in Derek Carr, it's really strange to me.
By the way, that Brady commercial, though, first of all, you were right about it's probably a Super Bowl commercial. And I said it the other day on the air as well. It's just.
Probably was.
It was. You remember?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you see the picture.
It was a Hulu has live sports thing, but then at the end, you heard him say,
I'm not going
as
anywhere.
For me, I'm not going anywhere. I was like, he's toying with us now. He knows that he's toying with us.
But that's why he posted that picture. He posted that picture because he knew darn well, everyone's going to think about that's me retiring.
Yep,
that's me
right.
retiring. And then when I unveil it at the Super Bowl, it'll turn to be a Super Bowl commercial. But then right at the end, they'll say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I ain't going anywhere. I'm still. Well, what is this speech? I'm still here. We're still here. We're still here." That's another one. We're still here.
Oh boy! All right.
Tom Brady is I keep telling you, he's a sly
dog.
dog.
All right, more Haystack next.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show. With Mike Guido.
And here we go. Great to have you back. It's the Haystack on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza. Want to welcome in Ray Anzelowitz, president of Gotham Hoops, our inside NBA man. Ray, it's good to see you again. We didn't get to see you last week. Well, I saw you over the weekend a couple of weeks ago for the event. Now, I had you on last time to talk about Kobe. And before we get into any NBA, college basketball, whatever whatever stuff in that area, two things. The first thing is, I thought the event went really well. I thought the Classic went very well. Your thoughts? How do you think it went? Any news coming from it? What's the gist? What's the state right now of the event right now?
No, I thought that this was our best one yet. So this was our third annual for the high school teams, and both as far as level of competition and attendance-wise go, I thought that this was by far our most successful event, and that just makes me that much more eager to start putting together year 4. And I know that a bunch of players have garnered interest from schools based on their performances in the event, and that's only going to continue.
Right.
So we had about a dozen or so Division I college coaches in the gym evaluating guys on site over the weekend between Saturday and Sunday. And then now when these full game film and highlights start getting dispersed and distributed to college coaches nationally, that will only increase these players' visibility, which is what the event is all about.
Right. I'm sure there's nothing that you can report now, any specifics or anything like that, because I'm sure you don't want to publish it. But
so I'm hoping next week I'll have something that I can share with you, because I know that a high school coach that shared to me that one of his players was receiving interest from a new D1 program, but an offer hasn't been, or there hasn't been an offer yet.
Uh-huh.
So apparently that's on the way. So again, hopefully by this time next week, I'll be able to confirm and share that with you.
Yeah, because there were some really high-level players playing in that tournament. I had the pleasure of being able to do the play-by-play for that tournament. It was absolutely fantastic. All right, Super Bowl.
Yep.
What are your thoughts? Chiefs over the Niners. Yep. What'd you think?
I thought it was a good, not great game. The icing on the cake was the fact that it came down to the wire to a degree, or rather, possessions mattered in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Where San Francisco, up 2 possessions, definitely had a shot to put the Chiefs away, and they couldn't. For probably more reasons than one, but I believe it starts with Jimmy Garoppolo. and you can't leave a guy like Patrick Mahomes. You can't give him an opportunity to lead his team to a comeback. And his offense did a great job. His defense did a great job towards the end of limiting first downs for the Niners. And I mean, I thought the Chiefs' offensive line was getting beat up all night, so Mahomes really had to utilize his feet, which he's accustomed to. But again, overall, I thought it was a good game. Yeah,
no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game. I thought because it virtually it wasn't held on to by penalties. It was a lot of back and forth. I was tense for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was. Here we go. I was on the edge of my seat for a while. All right. So the NBA is kind of getting interesting now because there's a million different trade rumors that are going around, right? So I'm going to go player by player, and I want you to tell me your thoughts, what you know, anything along those lines. So here's the heavy one. D'Angelo Russell, gone from Golden State. Is there any momentum there? What do you think?
I believe so. I mean, that's been something that as soon as he touched down in the Bay Area, people assumed that Bob Myers, the GM for the Warriors, was just using him as an asset to flip. Of course, D'Angelo Russell was part of that sign-and trade that sent Kevin Durant to the Brooklyn Nets. So, but on the flip side, I've heard and read that the Warriors aren't interested in dealing him this season. They want to hold on to him because at the end of the day, I mean, granted, the Warriors are expected to have at least a top 3 pick. I think they may even have the worst record in the league right now.
Yeah.
But you need to give fans a reason to pay crazy amounts of money to go check out the new Chase Center if you're following me. So if you take away, as good as like Draymond Green is, he's not a marquee guy, especially someone that is that inefficient on the offensive end. You need someone that people are going to sit down and enjoy watching. That's D'Angelo Russell. But with that said, if you think that you can get a high-value commodity for him before Thursday's trade deadline, then you pull the trigger.
If he gets traded, where do you think he goes?
It seems like Minnesota is the destination for, again, more than one reason. But, I mean,
him and Karl Anthony Towns seem like they desperately want to play together.
Yeah, they're BFFs. So again, I don't know how much that means to Bob Myers. Like D'Angelo Russell is not a free agent. He can't dictate where he wants to go. I'm sure guys nowadays, and probably dating back years now, they share their preferences. But I mean, it's not a perfect world, even when you are a multimillionaire and getting paid to play ball for a living. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure if Andrew Wiggins and co. is the right piece for this Warriors team moving forward. I think they need something a little bit bigger, a little bit better, someone with a little bit more experience. But all signs right now are showing D'Lo to Minnesota. But who knows? I mean, the Warriors are some of the best in the business, and just because we're reading this on the rumor mill doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to go.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. All right. Clint Capella. That you brought this up a while ago. You've been saying this for it seems like almost months, right? Clint Capella. What do you think? Your thoughts?
So yes, I do think he's the odd man out. I think that they could use an upgrade in their front court. I also think that they overpaid Clint Capella. I think he was too good in his career, too good too soon in his career. So he got oodles of cash, and I guess deservingly so. But at the end of the day, I mean, I've expressed to you that I thought Detroit would be a good destination. So you're able to. There probably have to be some more pieces involved just to make it work financially. But I believe
him and Andre Drummond.
Whereas I can't. I've read that Drummond wants to stay in Detroit. I don't necessarily believe that when teams in bigger and arguably warmer markets start calling and can give him just about the same money that the Pistons can, and even an opportunity to make an advance in the playoffs. I think that's really going to resonate with him. And just lastly on this Clint Capella, what I've read recently is that they're targeting a lot of Eastern Conference teams, such as Atlanta, who seems to be in the mix for a lot of these trade rumors nowadays. But I can't see Atlanta giving up Cam Reddish, Herter,
DeAndre Hunter.
So I don't know who they're going to be. Obviously not. I can't imagine that they're going to put John Collins in that
right
in that trade package. So it's good that Atlanta is looking to bolster their roster.
I mean, like Damian Jones.
No,
it's just like
the Rockets again. I think they got to think whoever we get in this exchange, if they pull the trigger, has to help them win a series or two. And there's arguably no one on Atlanta minus a guy like Trae Young, which is untouchable. And I think the court or the basketball will explode if Trae Young and James Harden ever share the same.
Oh my God, but, Trae Young, Westbrook, and Harden? Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ!
So again, I don't see Capella to Atlanta just because I don't know who they're willing or able to give up in that deal.
They're gonna start needing to play with one of those like never what are they? The never pop,
flat.
the never flat balls. I mean, Jesus, they got to start playing with the balls with ribs on it, just because they got to keep it from popping, or taking the air out of it at least. Okay, so before I get into my team, there's one more that's out there. I don't think he goes anywhere because I think that the Pelicans are really reluctant to move on from him. Drew Holiday. It doesn't seem like there's going to be anything there, right?
I don't believe so, but it's tricky because
I heard the Heat and the Nuggets were interested.
I believe that. I'm sure a lot of teams are interested.
Those are the latest, at least.
So, if we just dig in a little bit deeper to the Pelicans and really analyze who, or rather, what Drew Holiday means to them, he's by far their veteran leader, even more so than a guy like J.J. Redick, who may even have a few years on him as far as NBA career goes, longevity. But Drew's been with the Pelicans much longer, so he's a staple in that city for that organization. And then right on top of that is they're in the hunt for that eighth and final playoff spot in the West, which to me is going to be one of the bigger, for better or worse, one of the bigger storylines as we finish out this season.
Right.
Because it seems like 7 and above are pretty solidified. They'll probably move around a little bit. But that 8th spot, Portland's on the outside looking in. New Orleans is a few more.
Minnesota.
I think Minnesota.
They've kind of dropped out a little bit. But Memphis is in there too, right?
I'm pretty sure Memphis has that 8th spot. They may be a game or two ahead of Portland. But San Antonio is right there.
Right.
With New Orleans and company. So I bring that up because I don't know if both changing the attitude in the locker room, as well as I'm not sure who you're going to get that's going to be able to perform better than Drew Holiday. So I think because of even just those two reasons, you have to keep him. And if something pops up over the offseason that you like, then you pull the trigger. I
mean, if you tell me if this is even intriguing, because this is something that I've heard, right? If you're the Pelicans, if the Nuggets call you and say, if you give us Drew Holiday, we'll give you Gary Harris and a first-round pick. I mean, do you entertain that?
No, you do. You absolutely do.
Because Gary Harris can play.
I stopped myself from shouting his name before you said it, but because I'm glad you did. That would probably be realistically, obviously, like Jamal Murray would be an upgrade, but Gary Harris would probably be the only guy that would deem trade worthy as far as a Pelicans-Nuggets deal goes. So,
right. No, you're not doing it for Malik Beasley.
No, but also you have to, in my eyes, if I'm Trajan Langdon and David Griffin with the Pelicans, you have to throw somebody else in there. Because at the end of the day, a first-round pick it sounds nice on paper, but that's realistically 27, 28, 29, 30. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
That's going to be a late first-rounder, which is I'm not sure how valuable those are now.
Would you do Gary Harris? This is why I'm thinking to myself. Gary Harris in the first round pick, because I'm even thinking this might be too much. The gears in my brain are working now.
Even after all that food last night?
Yes. There's plenty of brain power today. Gary Harris, the first round pick. What about throwing in somebody like, what about Bol?
How was I'm disappointed in myself, but how has he been doing this year? I mean, has he been in the G
I don't think he's been played. I don't know. That's because the upsides clearly there. I mean, you and I think we're pretty high on Bol going in. But
I would reject that if I'm the Pelicans, just because you're throwing in someone who is literally a hit or miss,
right?
And that's not worth our time.
Right.
So, I mean, it will never happen like a Michael Porter Jr.
That was the name thinking in my head. Michael Porter.
I would take. I mean, I don't think the Nuggets
that
would
I
do
would
that.
take.
I would even. You can keep your first round pick. You give me Gary Harris and MPJ and Drew Holiday is all yours.
Why is MPJ not getting more minutes?
I think
in Denver.
I don't think he's as needed as people think. Like Denver is going to continue to win games without him, and I think.
But is he better than Torrey Craig?
Honestly, it depends who you ask. And as far as the value that they bring on the court, you can make an argument that Torrey Craig is more valuable than Michael Porter Jr. at this moment of both their careers, just based on the experience, based on their body type. Obviously, Porter Jr. is a little bit taller, but Torrey Craig is built like almost like a linebacker in the sense.
Yeah, no, he's big defense. Right. That Torrey, he is that kind of player.
But if you jump forward to the end of their careers, I'd be highly impressed if we can sit back and say Torrey Craig had the better career. But right now, where they stand, I think Torrey Craig is needed, if just as much, if not more, than Michael Porter Jr. at this time.
All right. My team, my beloved and disappointing Cleveland Cavaliers, now have two guys that are on the trade block. One of them is probably not going to get traded, and then the other one looks like they're just putting on the block recently because the other guy can't get traded. Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. I think both of them could bring value somewhere else, right? Tristan Thompson makes a lot of money, and he probably makes way more money than he's worth, but he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the entire league, right? The guy's going to average 13 rebounds a game. Kevin Love, I mean, he's probably making more money than he's worth now too, but he can be 18 and 11. Is there any ground there? Is there any value with either one of those two guys for Cleveland?
There absolutely is, and it's all about the right situation. And why I say that is because you have to be comfortable with what you're giving up for such a potentially like a short-term investment. I mean, I don't know exactly how many years Kevin Love has on the rest of his current contract. I know he just signed it maybe a year or two ago.
I think he's got like 2 or 3 years left.
I mean, who knows what you're getting after year 3? You want to say what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I hear you.
Are you willing to give up a long-term investment as far as a first-round pick and then some to a guy that can really boost your roster and hopefully help in a playoff push for the next 2 to 3 years? And some teams would bite the bullet, and some teams would prefer just to hang on to what they have and hope for better days ahead.
I mean, to me, I think there's one team that should be interested in one, if not both of these guys. Yeah, I'm not saying at the same time, but one, if not both of these guys, is Boston. I mean, I feel like Boston should be all over both of them. They can't rebound for any. I mean, that's their big problem. Is they're solid 1 through 4. They don't have a 5 that can collect 7 rebounds a game. They just don't. They're starting Daniel Tice, and Enes Kanter can't rebound. So it's if you like. Here's the thing: the automatic thing that pops into my head, and I want you to tell me if it makes sense. A literal swap, maybe something else coming over from Boston, just because they're the team that's desperate. But Kevin Love for Gordon Hayward, almost straight up. I mean, they're both on not sexy contracts, and the Celtics are essentially saying, okay, Gordon Hayward is a borderline all-star who's on a bad contract. Kevin Love is a borderline all-star that's on a bad contract. But Kevin Love's an all-star that's on a borderline contract that actually fills something that we need. You know, like Kevin Love can be your rebounder. You know, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why? If you're Boston, how are you not semi-jumping all over that?
No, I think those are great points, and it's funny. I would even, if I'm Danny Ainge in Boston, I would consider, or rather, I would value Tristan Thompson higher than Kevin Love for the purpose that you would have to give up more to get K. Love than you would Thompson, and keeping that core 4 of Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and the aforementioned Hayward, and keeping them without having to and being able to bring a rebounder like Thompson would be ideal. Where if you deal for K. Love, I think whether it's Gordon Hayward or I mean, there's no way they're moving. I don't think they can move Kemba, like as far as the league structure goes, because they just signed him. But
they're not going to move him. But
they wouldn't move him. They wouldn't move Tatum. I highly doubt Jaylen Brown is going to be the odd man out. So again, I agree with you. But But
would you move Hayward and Semi Ojeleye for Kevin Love? I mean, it's
just so tough because they're playing so well. And just going back to the mantra, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I'm just so torn. Whereas if you can get a guy like Thompson or his equivalent that can help you in a spot where you're desperately in need of some support as far as rebounding goes, and you can get that guy without having to give up one of those aforementioned starters, then you're sitting pretty.
Right. All right.
I don't think you need Kevin Love for the scoring, but you just need him on the rebounding.
Right. Exactly.
So I say I would like to think that you just focus on the guy that can just do that, and if he adds a couple points, that's just an added bonus. But to me, I guess you know what? I guess no. I guess it's not worth giving up Gordon Hayward for Kevin Love.
What about Tristan Thompson? Because Tristan Thompson probably doesn't warrant giving up Hayward unless you want to just match salaries.
If there's a way to get Tristan Thompson or his equivalent without giving up Hayward or any of those three other guys, then 100%.
It makes all the sense in the world.
100%.
What about Clint Capella? Clint Capella for Hayward.
That's a great one.
Because you'd probably, at this point in their careers, take Capella over probably both Thompson and Kevin Love.
So let's yes, and especially with the salaries, because you're not paying Capella nearly as much as I know Kevin Love, and I'd like to think I know Capella's getting like 18 to 22 or so in these next couple of years. It increases. Even
though I'm also on the boat that Kevin Love is still much better than how he looks right now in Cleveland. I think a change of scenery would do wonders for Kevin Love.
I agree, especially sticking in the East, and then he'll be a dominant force, or rather. He would be a nice addition for any playoff team. I'll put it that way. But I mean, you have me thinking about the Capella Hayward just because defensively, or even just matchup wise, who would you rather have playing the Bucks, playing the Heat, playing the Raptors? Would you rather have a stud defensive guy in the middle of the paint, or a wing that's capable of guarding his man, but also a much better offensive player as far as Hayward versus Capella? So to be honest with you, I think that price is too high. It's arguably not even arguably. It's hands down much easier said than done. But if there's a way to get a big defensive stopper to a degree, but at least a rebounder without giving up any of those four guys, that's what you have to do. But again, I know that's. If it were that easy, everybody would do it. But I think that Capella-Hayward deal is definitely intriguing.
Would you do it straight up?
If I'm Boston?
If you're both?
If I'm Houston,
would you need more?
You would need Tice. You would need who's the big fella from A&M? Robert
Williams.
Yeah, like you would need size. Like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how talented they are, you would need a big body in return just because you're giving up your best big body, and you can't really rely on Tyson Chandler, and I don't know if it's Hardenstein. I'm blanking on the other big.
Yeah, it's Isaiah Hartenstein, yeah.
So, no, I wouldn't do it straight up if I'm Houston, and if I'm Boston, throwing like Daniel House or something like that to sweeten the deal.
Oh, okay.
Because for whatever, like you're going to lose a lot with Gordon Hayward. And even when he doesn't score, if we just think about it a little bit deeper, the defense needs to pay attention to him. So any split second that they're eyeing Gordon Hayward where he is on the court, that's a split second more that Kemba, Jason, Jalen, when they have the ball in their hands, that they can attack. Or it's a couple less inches, a couple less feet that a second defender is closing in on them because they have to stay on a guy like Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
And that's not the same with Clint Capella, of course.
All right. I want to try something.
Mm-hmm.
You are the Lakers, okay? You're the Lakers. You're trying to make a trade, right? You're trying to get that extra hump, right? You're trying to get to that extra You know what? How about this? I'll be the Lakers. You be the GM that I assign you. Let's try this, okay? All right, so ring. I'm calling the Sacramento Kings. Okay. Right? In division, you play 50 times a year. So, all right.
Former coach.
Right, exactly. So, I want somebody really good. I want somebody on your team that's really good. I have somebody in mind, but I'm going to touch on the higher end guy first. What would it take for me to grab Buddy Hield? A lot?
No,
not on the table.
Untouchable.
Okay.
I mean, because it's going to.
I would imagine
it's two names that would make you hang up. So it's not
Fox and Hield. Those are the two guys that you can't.
No, well, I meant.
LeBron and Anthony Davis. Okay, all right, I hear you.
I can tell. So I guess Fox and Hield are. I mean, we'll get to him, but Fox and Hield are for sure. I mean, there's nothing that you.
Yeah, I figured I'd test my waters with Buddy Hield.
By all means.
All right, what about Bogdanovich?
Available, but he's gonna be the most expensive asset that I would be willing to give up.
All right, what would you need?
Kuzma.
Okay, he's on the table. There you go. You can have Kuzma.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not done.
Okay. You're not done.
No, not at all. I mean, do you even have first round picks you can offer me?
I think I have one in 2027. I'm actually gonna look that up.
Yeah,
I think I have one. If I don't have that one, you're gonna have to call David Griffin.
I know, right?
Lakers. Let's see. Lakers draft picks. Let's just see how many.
I don't think you're going to be able to afford Bogdanovich. One, because
you really don't think so.
You're asking someone that thinks very high of this player, very high.
Okay.
Or highly.
Let's see. Are they actually going to give me? Oh no, they're going to give me. They're giving me past draft picks. No, I'm not interested in that.
Oh, I mean, so if we could just find exactly what the Pels Lakers deal was from last year, and then just.
Okay. So they have. All right. So the Lakers have. Hang on. This is really confusing. They have, I think. My God. All right. The first pick that they have that has nothing to do with anything. That's not like associated with the Pelicans or any other team in a trade is in 2025.
Now, the Lakers gave up 3 first-round picks for Anthony Davis.
Or actually, no, it's in 2022. They have a first-round pick in 2022.
Okay, that's intriguing. So, but the first three, the 3 first-round picks, were those consecutive as far?
3 players and 3 first-round picks.
Oh, it doesn't. We got to find what years those were, because someone has to have it. All right, so do you just want to move forward with that? You have your own 2022?
I have my 2022 first-round draft pick and Kyle Kuzma.
It was a 2021 pick.
That was dealt?
For the Pelicans.
Okay.
The Pelicans got a 2021 pick that will go to Walden. Will become an unprotected pick in 2022.
But
it's in the top 8 in that.
There's a lot of confusing draft pick.
Well, and some of them have to do with contingencies and such.
The deal includes a pick swap in 2023, which is unprotected, as well as, again, this is all the Anthony Davis trade, as well as an unprotected first-round pick in 2024 that the Pelicans will have the right to defer until 2025.
Yeah, so I mean, the Pelicans own the Lakers' future as far as draft picks go. But
they do.
I'll give you an answer in a moment, but similar to how we were talking about. Who was you throw out the Nuggets first-round pick, right?
Right.
That's not worth a lot to me, just because similar to the Lakers, even though
it's going to be a late 20 pick. Yeah.
So
all right. I mean, okay. So I can.
So no, Kuzma and a 2022 first, even though for a couple years
doesn't
from now,
tickle your fancy.
Not enough, especially for Bogdanovich. I have a guy in mind that I would swap out Bogdanovich for that I haven't heard his name.
Go ahead.
Bagley. Give me Marvin Bagley a third for it. Wouldn't. I think I don't know. I'll throw that out there.
You would give me Marvin Bagley for
Kuzma in the first.
For Kuzma in a first.
And throwing, yeah.
Can I get if I get Marvin Bagley, can I also get? Now I'm just toying with you, but could I also get? I'm thinking Kings roster, deep down Kings roster.
Harry Giles is off the table.
Okay, I don't need Harry Giles. Okay, I don't need another big guy. I got enough. I got enough bigs on my roster. So let's see, Sacramento Kings. Yeah, they're playing. They're playing tonight. So let's take a look at their roster now. I could use a 3-point shooter.
Corey Joseph's on the team.
Could I get Kyle Guy?
By all means.
Could I also get? Now we're just kind of throwing crap out there. Actually, forget about Kyle Guy.
Sure?
Could I get Marvin Bagley and could I get Nemanja Bjelica?
I thought you just said you don't need another big.
I don't care. He shoots threes.
No,
he's 6'9" and shoots threes.
Because if I would swap, no.
But then I would also. And
this is why Kings Lakers deal won't happen.
It just. But I'd also give you.
Okay, sorry.
I'm
giving up too much.
I would also give you. Let's see.
I'll throw out a name if you can't think of one.
Okay.
I'll take KCP off your hands.
Done.
So
done.
Kuzma, KCP, and a first.
Kuzma, KCP, and a first for Bogdanovich and Bjelica.
No. How did Bogdanovich get back in this? I've been saying Bagley for the past 5 minutes.
For Bagley. My bad. For Bagley. No, sorry. So Bogdanovich and Bagley for... No, I'm just kidding. So for Bagley, Bjelica, can I get a second?
Yeah, I'll give you 27 seconds. Isn't that how
you give me a second round pick 7 years from now? Excellent.
I feel like I'm Adam Silver listening to 2GM.
Yeah,
like,
Adam Silver's
make up your mind.
Adam Silver's at his desk right now, like, oh my god, my god.
When does Mark
Luke hang up the phone? Vlade Divac, hang up the phone. Oh goodness gracious! All right, I'm going to do one more scenario.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, because this is fun for me. I like torturing you a little bit.
No, not torture at all. Trust me, I'm enjoying this just as much as you are.
You are the imaginary Washington Wizards GM because they still don't have one, right?
I think Tommy Shepard. I think they
Okay, so they
promoted him.
Okay, so Tommy Shepard is now the GM of the Washington Wizards. I really want Bradley Beal.
I was going to say, who else on the roster could be of interest to you?
I would gladly take Davis Bertans. No,
that's true.
Give me Ian Mahinmi in that terrible contract.
No, but just real quick, Bertans has been. I mean, if anyone,
he's actually been very good.
Yeah. So if anyone has boosted their stock as far as like from where they were to where they are now, it's been him.
And Rui Hachimura has actually done a nice job for them as well. Yeah, they've got something there. Troy Brown has not been awful. They've got decent young players. Anyway, but I'm not interested
where they are today. But
I'm not interested in any of those other outcasts. I want your big guy. I want Bradley Beal. I think he'd work perfectly with LeBron and AD. What would I have to give you? I've got a draft pick in 2027.
There is literally nobody on that roster. If you want Bradley Beal to play with, how about this? I'll make a deal with you.
Okay.
Evan, you ready? AKA.
All right, go for
Kamish.
it. All right, I'm Adam Silver.
You're Adam Silver.
Yeah, no, because I'm going to need your.
He's got Adam Silver's.
This new trade proposal is now under your jurisdiction.
Oh no.
It's all right. Evan's got Adam Silver's nose, so. I'm just saying, people would buy it.
Well,
you would need to shave your head,
I also need to grow. I need also to grow. Adam Silver's 6'3". I'm 5'7".
Is he 6'3"? I thought he was taller. I actually thought he was like 6'6" or something. Silver's a tall guy.
I just looked it up and said he's 6'3". So.
All right, fine. Okay.
All right. Kuzma.
Okay.
KCP.
Okay.
And then I'll take that first. All right, so we'll stick with those three.
All right, so we'll stick with those three.
But I'm not done.
I hear you. I'm waiting.
We have Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and a first-round pick.
Correct. in 3005.
Does Talon Horton Tucker
Not at all.
tickle your fancy?
I'll tell you what tickles my fancy. And Commissioner, you ready for this?
Oh,
it's going to be an unprecedented trade proposal.
This is going to be terrible.
I will shake your hand and make this deal, but but we have to.
You all right?
We have to switch his cities. So we're now the Los Angeles Wizards, and you're now the Washington Lakers.
Is that right?
So you could have AD, LeBron, and Bradley Beal, but you're now in D.C. And now,
okay.
And now,
you guys get the Staples Center. And we'll play in the DC Capital One Arena or something like that, whenever they play.
No, wait, isn't that the Verizon Center?
The
No,
15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance dome.
Think about all the ads. You'll have that trio.
That's right.
Okay. The Capital One Arena. You're right.
All right, so let's. Is it actually Capital One?
Capital One Arena, where the Washington Capitals play.
Yeah.
Wow, I totally guessed.
No,
I
it's
totally
literally
guessed.
Capital
That's
One.
amazing.
And Georgetown plays
I'm
there.
genius. All right, so this would have to be a situation then if the Lakers wanted a player like Bradley
are we
Beal,
not
right?
taking my deal serious? You're not getting Bradley Beal.
You'd have
play
to add a
with
third
AD.
team. You'd have to add a third team.
I'm putting in exclamation points. No Bradley Beal.
Well, all right, fine, but it depends on that third team. But it's gonna. I mean, one team is gonna get shit out of luck just because I don't think there are enough superstars that are going to be able to go from the the Lakers aren't going to be giving up anybody worthwhile. Even if I think, and I keep mentioning them, I think we may agree, but their most valuable assets are Kuzma, KCP, and a first round pick, which may not be that valuable at the end of the day.
I'm breaking out the trade machine.
Yeah, by all means.
All right, so
ESPN's trade machine.
yes. Okay, so I want.
So I guess we're.
Oh,
nixing
wow!
the
Oh,
city
this
team.
is interesting. This is interesting now. It's not possible. I can't trade for Bradley Beal.
Well, you can't afford him. Yeah.
When a free agent signs a contract,
that's true.
or when a player signed a two-way contract, he can't be traded until December 15th or 3 months, whichever is later. So he can't be traded till next year.
No. It depends when he signed that contract, because it hasn't been 3 months. You're 100% right, but the 3 months are going to come up before next season.
All right, so the restriction expires on April 15th. That's after the deadline.
But how could that be? So that would mean if it was 3 months prior, like he signed that extension at least 2 months ago. I mean, so I guess it wouldn't work with the deadline anyway. But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. No, I'm interested in that. Though.
That was the same reason I briefly hinted at towards it, like why the Celtics couldn't move Kemba is because of that same.
It's because of that same principle. Yes.
Correct.
So
and I forgot about the Bradley Beal extension, but so it would have to be an off-season deal if it did happen at all.
Right. See, I don't think. But see, this is the reason I'm kind of playing with this. Because other than somebody like Bogdanovich or somebody along those lines, or a player like Bradley Beal, I don't know how the Lakers could improve.
Well, I agree. I feel that they don't need to.
You don't think they have to?
They would beat the Bucks right now. I don't care about their record.
They would beat the Bucks
in the series. They're going to beat the Bucks.
Wow.
There's no doubt about it.
Would they beat the Clippers?
I'd say yes, but I'd also say that the Clippers. I want to say that the Clippers would give the Lakers a better run for their money in a 7-game series than the Bucks.
Okay.
Would. Because truthfully, and again, I not to take anything away from Milwaukee, but they are a one-headed monster. And I know Chris Middleton is a back-to-back All-Star, and Eric Bledsoe is terrific, and Brooke has been playing well for them, etc. You take or you limit Giannis, and the Bucks are a middle-of-the-pack team.
Does that any way is going to, again, I know I'm jumping ahead, but is that any way affecting Giannis's mindset when he approaches free agency?
100% it has to.
I know that's definitely something that a lot of teams are looking forward to. Giannis's eventual free agency and his possible, because we've seen reports before where Giannis is thinking, okay, if I'm not close to a title, I got to get out of here.
So I agree with that 100%, but our definitions of close to a title may be different. And I mean, is just getting to the finals, which they're the likely favorite in the East, is just getting to the finals. Is that good enough for him? I think he needs to surround himself with better talent, and it's. I almost have to kick myself as I say that, just because Milwaukee's 40+ and 7 or something. I mean, they're playing out of their minds, but that doesn't necessarily correlate to the playoffs. I think there are a handful of teams that will give them a battle. 6, maybe even 7 games in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and I definitely do not see them beating the Lakers in a 7-game series. Because not only can the Lakers cancel out Giannis, but the Bucks don't have enough pieces to nix out all the weapons that the Lakers have.
Right.
See, I'm trying to make this trade work, and it just doesn't.
You can't move Beal, that's why, right?
Yeah, you can't move Beal. I moved on to something else.
Okay.
Because I can't make this trade work. No matter what I do, like, unless I gave up Danny Green, I really don't think that I could make it work. Because Danny Green's making $14.5 million a year. He's got the third highest contract on the team behind LeBron and Davis.
Mm-hmm. What are you trying to?
D'Angelo Russell.
So why can't it work? It's just
because there's not enough money going away from the Lakers. So I have Kuzma, but Kuzma's only making $2 million a year.
And I brought that up.
And you've been bringing this up for a while. That's tough.
It is.
Because Kuzma just doesn't make any money.
Correct.
Kuzma doesn't make any money. I included Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He's making over $8 a year.
That's really it. I would have thought he was making more than Danny.
I thought he was making more than that too, but he's making $8, and I included Avery Bradley, who's making about $4.5.
Yeah,
so it still doesn't do it. And again, you've got,
and then you can't trade 4 guys from one guy.
You have Boogie Cousins, who's making $3.5, and he's got his trade exception, but that's still not enough. You need another $9 million going the other way. Yeah. It just doesn't work. So the Lakers are in a bind. I mean, people were right. When they traded for Anthony Davis, they were throwing all their chips in. Yeah. This is basically it for them. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. I think the Lakers have done a really good job building this roster. I like this roster a lot, and they're good at a lot of different things. They've got perimeter defenders. Yep. They've got rim protectors up the wazoo, right? I mean, McGee and Dwight Howard
and even Davis and LeBron can
right. They don't allow anybody in the paint.
Yep.
Anybody, and they can score. They've got shooters. LeBron's a star. Anthony Davis is a star. They've done a nice job, but they've limited their chances for improvement. Correct. So,
but I mean,
it's interesting.
Again, just to kind of take this full circle, at the end of the day, this is probably the best version of themselves that they could be, and I do think that the only way that they could possibly improve is by dealing Kuzma. But what we found out is that he's a hard piece to move just because of making it work financially.
Jeez, do you see how many assets the Warriors have as far as trades go? They've got a $2 million trade exception for Willie Cauley-Stein. Mm-hmm. They have a $1.5 million trade exception with Travion Graham. They have a $1.5 million trade exception for Shabazz Napier. Mm-hmm. And then they have a $17 million trade exception with Andre Iguodala. So they've got assets up the wazoo. They've got draft picks. Yep. I mean,
I'm beyond intrigued to see what they do in the draft, because I've mentioned, and I've been saying this for a while.
They put James Wiseman on that roster.
See, I don't buy it. I say you could get more out of that pick by moving it than you can with James Wiseman.
I mean, that you're right. I'm not going to keep you for much longer. We'll probably talk about that next week. But all right, Ray, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. All right, Evan, with the news on a Monday.
All right, so continuing on with the NBA trade deadline talk. D'Angelo Russell continues to get trade buzz around. New York Knicks are kind of looking at him, or New York Knicks are looking at him.
That's so stupid.
D'Angelo Russell, where were you expecting him to land this in the trade deadline?
Well, Ray said it, and I think I agree with him. It feels like it's Minnesota or nothing.
Correct.
I just don't. I don't see anything else. First of all, I don't see anybody else really drawing that heavy of interest. Are the Knicks committed to pursuing him, or are they just kind of dabbling in the what are they doing? Evan, is there anything specific on that? Or are they just saying they're interested?
They're interested. They're in the mix for D'Angelo Russell.
What would they give up for him?
That's what I was just going to say.
The Warriors are listening to pitches for D'Angelo Russell, and the Knicks are in it. It's unclear how far.
What do the Knicks have? The Knicks wouldn't have anything that would intrigue.
Bobby Portis and Frank Ntilikina were apparently mentioned in conversations.
All right, so we're saying that Bobby Portis and Frank Ntilikina are going to get a trade done for D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, and you know what? This year's first-round pick.
Which is going to be phenomenal. All right, so say goodbye to LaMelo Ball or Cole Anthony or one of those players, and yeah, sure, you can have D'Angelo Russell, who
let's see why
after a year is going to be asking for out anyway.
Why would you do that? Because you can pay a young guard that may not be as good as D'Lo is today, but he's going to cost you a tenth of what D'Lo is.
I mean,
and you get to keep the players that you have. I mean, but also a lot of the guys are on expiring contracts. So, but then the opposite of that is you get a household name that may potentially attract other free agents when they have money.
Can I make the argument that being in New York, like the Knicks, right? They're right in the center of New York, play at Madison Square Garden, the whole bit. It's as much of a curse as it is a blessing. I mean, it's just.
I wouldn't. As far as a player playing,
as far as a player playing there, as far as pressure on the ownership, as far as everything.
I don't think so, because how can you not say the same about the Yankees or the Rangers? You know what I'm saying? Just because I think you're only thinking that because the Knicks have been so bad for so long now.
Oh my God! I mean, for the greater part of 50 years, they've been irrelevant. It really is amazing.
But no, I wouldn't agree that it's a curse. I just think that they haven't done themselves any favors. I'll leave it at that.
But that's the interesting part, is what in the hell would they give the Warriors for D'Angelo Russell? That's what I mean.
I would understand Morris, but just as far as a short-term play, because he would be a nice addition, even someone coming off the bench, Curry, Thompson, even Green. But you're not giving up a guy of such a valuable asset like D'Angelo Russell for a guy like Marcus Morris.
I don't get it. All right, what's next?
The Dallas Mavericks are still reluctant to go for a trade for Andre Iguodala, according to Mark Stein of the New York Times. He writes, the Mavericks still seek a wing upgrade after the acquisition of Willie Cauley-Stein, but leaked sources say Dallas has maintained its reluctance to join the Andre Iguodala trade chase that was reported back in December. They're also not actively bidding on Robert Covington. He continues to say the Iguodala situation is fascinating because Memphis is adamant that it will not buy him out if the trade fails to materialize by Thursday's deadline. You obviously expect the Grizzlies to say that for now, but there are only 75 hours left to find a trade anticipated for months. Several teams have expressed interest in Iguodala, which the Mavs, Nuggets, Rockets, and Clippers are part of those deals, but the Mavs are apparently reluctant to go for him.
What about your Lakers? Would you?
Is he?
Would you ship Kuzma to the Grizzlies if you knew that you were getting Iguodala back?
No, I don't think I would.
Okay,
that's because I don't think Iguodala is what I need. Right? I mean,
what do you think you need?
I think I could use some more wing shooting. Like I think if I got, and I know I have Danny Green, but if I got a guard that could really shoot it at a really high clip, I'd be interested in that.
I mean, but you said his name. I think Covington would be the guy. But
Covington's a nice piece.
I'm not sure. Like if I'm Golden
Minnesota
State,
wants a lot for Robert Covington.
All right, what about D'Angelo Russell?
Well, Covington would work with the Warriors.
I think perfect.
He'd work with the Warriors, but I heard that the Timberwolves are looking for 2 first-round picks for Covington. They're not. I mean, yeah, they're not going to get that. But I don't know. I'd want Iguodala for me is not going to get traded. He's not going to get traded.
I'd be ashamed
because
the season.
Well, the Grizzlies are biting themselves in the butt because they're refusing to buy him out. Teams know that he's not going to play there, so they're saying, "Well, why would we give you anything valuable? Here's my second-round pick in 2027. Give me Andre Iguodala. You got no choice. Who else is calling you? Like it makes no sense.
I'd be very surprised if he's on the Grizzlies after the trade the deadline is over. But we'll see.
Do you think he's going to get traded?
I do. I think someone is going to want him bad enough that they may even overpay for him.
You have to make a prediction right now. 3, 2. Clippers.
Yeah.
Could be.
You give away an expiring contract like Mo Harkless.
Yeah.
You sprinkle in Jermichael Green, another guy. Even honestly, Jerome Robinson. I don't think he's a fit with the Clippers.
If I said, all right, so the expiring contract of Mo Harkless and Fiondu Kabengele, would you do that if you're Memphis? I would.
I mean, sure, but it depends what else is on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the only offer versus just having Iguodala sit at home wherever he is throughout the rest of the year, then sure.
Yeah, doing guest appearances on ESPN Wednesday Night Basketball. It's just, I don't know. It's insane. All right, Evan, finally.
Derrick Rose has been part of trade discussions, too.
We haven't talked about him at all.
Yeah, Derrick Rose said, comments on the trade rumors. He said, it's up to the front office and Arn gave me his word that if something were to happen, he will text or call. But I told him that I want to stay in Detroit with the Pistons. But it's up to me. You already know how that goes. The Lakers have been linked to Derrick Rose. If the Lakers have to send out Kuzma and Avery Bradley for Rose, the question is is that enough of an upgrade for LA to pull the trigger on a deal? So, but Derrick Rose still actively part of trade discussions before the deadline.
See, I'm not sure Derrick Rose makes any sense.
The Pistons have actually been reportedly asking for a lottery-level pick to trade for Derrick Rose.
There's a reason that some of these organizations are where they are. I'll say that. But no, I agree. I mean, I don't think you're getting the Derrick Rose that you need to. I mean, again, we think differently about the Lakers right now. I think that they're fine just moving forward, even though if I had to choose someone to move, it'd be Kuzma. But I agree. I don't think Rose is that guy that's going to get them to where they need to be.
I don't think it. I don't either. I just. I so badly want to see D Rose go back to Chicago. Mm-hmm. I just do. You know what I mean? Like when he signed with Detroit, I was kind of pissed. I was like, God damn it! Like, you know, like I know they and Chicago's got point guards up the wazoo. I mean, they freaking Kobe White, Chris Dunn, Tomas Satoransky, Ryan Arcidiacono. They've got a million point guards, so it doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. But I'm like, why? First of all, why would Derrick Rose want to stay in Detroit of all places?
I think because he's comfortable there. He's playing well. I think they're on the outside looking in for the playoffs, and I mean, I think it just comes back to comfort. Like he has a solidified role there, and they expect him to do a lot. And goes to the Lakers, he goes from the third man or second or third option to fourth, fifth. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, it's the news. Interim Big J journalist Evan Mazza here on a Monday. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So you have anything unique yesterday, Ray? For like Super Bowl party, any food that was like
I should be asking you. Anything unique?
Or was everything more?
No, it was pretty standard. I'm drawing a blank now, but yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, I guess it couldn't have been too crazy. It was good. I can't really think of it, but yeah, it was nothing too crazy.
Pretty standard. Yeah,
pretty standard.
No, I hear you.
Sorry, I didn't have a better extravagant answer.
No, hey. There's no shame in it. Everybody celebrates the Super Bowl differently.
I mean, my chili. So that was okay. Probably the best thing on the menu.
There you go.
Homemade chili.
See, that's like the one thing I didn't have. Yeah. Oh, we didn't have chili. We didn't have guac.
Yeah.
Neither one of those. Oh, and we didn't have pigs in a blanket. Even though we had corn, we had mini corn dogs. Does that count?
We had pigs in a blanket and wings that were never served. So that was
just, really?
I was a little just because we had so much like apps and stuff that were being served that I think we kind of buy like the chili and then there was like some like stuffed mushrooms. By the time like we finished all of that, we're like, or everyone else was like, I don't know. I think that might be it for us. It's like,
all right.
We had wings and like a shrimp dish that was just waiting to be served that never hit the table.
All right. Good talking to you, buddy.
Same here.
It's always fun. All right, more Haystack next.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to the Haystack Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Great to be back. Haystack, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Mike, Evan, here on a Monday. Before we go to Bold Prediction Monday, Evan, who do we have on the phone?
Ken on the line. Kenny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man.
Ken, what do you have for me, bud?
Well, who did you guys think was going to win the game?
I had the Chiefs.
I had San Fran.
I think everybody had the Chiefs. Except for my degenerate gambler friend. He put 1,000 on the Niners.
1,000 on the Niners.
Why would you do that? I mean, I would have put 1,000 on the Chiefs because they won.
You know what he would have won if he would have won the bet?
What?
What would he have won?
I don't know anything about gambling, so.
Yeah, all right.
Tell you what, I had a cousin of mine had bet on the, and I think Ray also, Ray or you, Mike, had someone bet on the orange, like the Gatorade, like what Gatorade would it be that the guy would get, the winner, the head coach would get dunked in.
Right.
My cousin who knows nothing about football, doesn't really watch or care for football, was at a bar watching the game, and he put in money for the pool that the Gatorade would be orange, and he won a couple of bucks out of it. I think it was Ray. Did Ray win money, or was it?
I know a guy
Might have been, yeah.
at my Super Bowl party that had 0-0. So he won 3/4 out of 4.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had a guy. I was in a pool yesterday too that won the first half and the third quarter because he had 0-0 in the pool.
Right.
Right.
Crazy.
So they're in his pool, right? Because he's betting in a this party pool, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody at the party had any money to do a party pool. But the guy that had 11-0 or 1-0 won the whole thing.
Wow.
Because the foul score was 31-20.
Just like, okay, let's say the Saints didn't get robbed last year. They totally would have lost to the Patriots.
They would have lost to the Patriots?
Probably. You're in the world of the AFC as a powerhouse. You roll back 10-plus years, NFC was a powerhouse.
Well, I think the NFC is probably the stronger overall conference, but the AFC has the Patriots in it. So they've dominated over the past 2 decades.
Well, look at the AFC East. Patriots are in it. Then look at the NFC East. What's become? It's the weakest, worst division in football.
Yeah, probably. The AFC East is probably the worst division in football. They got nothing but dysfunctional franchises there.
I'm just saying, like, okay, none of them can claim the wild card. And, yeah, if I made a Las Vegas bet, I would have bet the Eagles would not have scored even 15 points in their playoff game. And they scored not even 10.
So,
pathetic, right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Ken, what'd you think of the game?
You see, if the NFC was strong, then their division would be the strongest, one of the best in football, and it's the worst.
Ken, what'd you think of the game? What was your takeaway from the game?
I thought it was a good game. It was tight and Kansas City let the lead get away a little bit, let the game get away a little bit, but then towards the end took over and won.
Yeah. Yeah, they from like the middle of the, not even the middle, but probably from about from the start of the fourth quarter on, it was pretty much all Chiefs. It was one quarter for the Chiefs that they had control of the game.
And stopping the Chiefs, the Chiefs stopping the Niners after Mahomes' second pick, because after Mahomes threw the second pick, this game could have gone out of hand. This game, right there, San Francisco had an opportunity to put this game away.
Right.
And win the Super Bowl. Chiefs defense made a heck of a stop, and 3rd and 15, you think, 3rd and 15, they get off the field, okay, Niners get the ball back, you let Tyreek Hill get wide open, and that was the one thing that Robert Saleh knew couldn't happen, and it did. Tyreek Hill gets wide open, you know Pat Mahomes is going to find him, ends up in a touchdown, Chiefs defense makes a stop, gets the ball back, San Fran scores, Kansas City scores again, take the lead, Kansas City's defense makes one more stop. That was it. This game was determined in the last 3 possessions, at least the last 3 possessions each of each team for their last 3-4 possessions.
Then how do you get the East? The NFC strong again? Get the NFC East strong, and the whole thing will be strong completely.
So,
all right.
Other divisions are strong, just one is weak, and when there's weakness on one end, it's going to spread around.
Strongest division now is what? The NFC West. Rams.
What?
Strongest division now is what? The NFC West. Rams.
Niners.
Seahawks. Arizona's on the way up. That's why we were talking about earlier in the show, Mike. San Francisco definitely has the hardest path to get back to a Super Bowl because, again, their division's tough. Their conference is tougher.
Well, you can imagine the Rams will be better next year. The Seahawks are still going to be there. Arizona will be improved next year. It wouldn't surprise me if San Francisco didn't make the playoffs. It really wouldn't. It would not surprise me at all if they didn't make the playoffs next year.
I guess they could win 10 or 11, 10 games and still miss the playoffs.
They could?
It's very possible. It is possible because they're in a tough division, tough NFC. And you got to figure Arizona. They had 5 wins, a tie. I'm thinking Arizona's going to take a step forward next year. Maybe win 8 games, maybe 9. I'm thinking Arizona's going to take a step forward. Offensive line's got to get improved. You're probably going to have to find another receiver.
Okay, I want to know, do you guys think the Rams, do you think the Browns will ever get better, like coaches and owners, and be winners because they've got number 1 draft picks?
Well,
on their team.
They're the coin flip. They're the coin flip team.
I think, I think that their coaches are already better. I don't think they're great, but I think they're better. I'm not sure the Browns will ever get it perfectly right in recent time, but I'm not sure. A lot of it depends on Baker Mayfield. So
no, I just asked about them because a good old buddy is a native Cleveland. He's not there anymore. He's in New Haven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's possible that they. I think it's possible that they improve next year. Also, I do. But I think a lot of it depends on what Baker Mayfield are you going to get,
and what Kevin Stefanski are you going to get, what kind of head coach are you going to get. I think the hire is good. I'm curious to see what he. Again, it's encouraging that Baker's now is technically really 4th head coach in 3 years because now that's Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams, Freddie Kitchens, and now Kevin Stefanski. That's
right.
4 coaches.
Whenever I ask him how's it going, he goes horrible. He's divorced, and his football team hasn't won since 1965.
Yeah, it's a rough go of it. I'm sure it is. It is a rough go.
Let's say they won in 5 years or something. Then I ask him how's it going. He goes, "It's awesome." Browns rule. Let's go on.
Put it this way: the Browns haven't had a winning season since 2007.
It would be better, right?
I would imagine that it would be better. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
he's got a tough road ahead right now.
I just mention him to people because I have a soft spot because I've known the guy for way over 10 years.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, Ken. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, and hey, a team won after 50-something years.
Yeah, it's great.
There's hope for the Jets, and there's hope for the Mets, and there's hope for all these teams that the Browns, Lions as well.
Yeah,
and then there's actual hope for teams like the Chiefs.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Take care, Kenny.
All righty. All right, here we go. Bold Prediction Monday. I'll give you 3 bold predictions that will more than likely be wrong going forward. You ready for this?
Go for it. Let me just get it up now.
I haven't done this in a while.
You haven't done this in a while, and now this is a post NFL season bold prediction. And NFL drafts coming up. The NBA season's in full swing. Baseball is pretty much
coming up.
So bold predictions. Here we go. Go for it.
All right. Number 1. Mookie Betts.
Oh, that's one we didn't get to talk about today. I want to talk more about him tomorrow or later, sometime this week. Definitely tomorrow.
Mookie Betts will get traded to the Dodgers this week. This week. So if he does not get traded by Sunday, I will be wrong. Number 2.
What if he gets traded this week and it's not to the Dodgers?
Then I don't get it right.
Right.
I don't get it right.
I thought maybe it'd be a 2-parter.
No. Number 2. Patrick Mahomes will win MVP next year. I think he wins MVP again. And number 3, Nolan Arenado does not get traded.
At all this season?
At all this season. Does not get traded. He will be in Colorado.
All right. There we go.
All righty.
There we go. So Mookie Betts will get traded to the Dodgers this week. Pat Mahomes will win the MVP next year. Obviously, that's not the range of possibility. Obviously, Pat Mahomes, if he wins, imagine him getting a second NFL MVP along with the Super Bowl MVP.
Yes.
And Arenado will not get traded. Nolan Arenado will not get traded all this season. Speaking of actually the MVP award, what'd you think of not only Lamar winning MVP, he won unanimously.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he got it unanimous. He was
woo!
definitely the MVP, but I didn't think he was unanimous MVP.
We both talked about before the show.
Russell Wilson should have gotten a vote or two.
Russell Wilson, McCaffrey, obviously Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas won Offensive Player of the Year, but Lamar Jackson not only won MVP, he won it unanimously.
Yeah.
Wow. First
player to do it since Tom Brady. He's only the second player to do it in NFL history. Tom Brady in 2010.
Brady in 2010, yes. I know that season. Yeah, that was an incredible season he had. But we both talked about before the show, Harbaugh winning Coach of the Year. I think that surprised a lot of us, too. That surprised a lot of us because we figured Shanahan, Tomlin, Sean McDermott, but they gave it to the head coach who had the best record in the NFL. I guess that was the thing. Harbaugh had the best record all year long, regular season, home field advantage, so he got Coach of the Year.
Right.
So and he had the MVP. I know that happened also in 2015. The Panthers, the year they got to the Super Bowl, Ron Rivera and Cam Newton both won MVP and Coach of the Year, and the Panthers had one of the best. I think they had the best record in the league that year. I think it was either them or 2015. Yeah, I think they did have the best record in the league that year. Either them or Denver. One of them. So that one obviously Lamar winning MVP didn't surprise any of us, but definitely the unanimous part was wow.
Yeah,
Harbaugh winning Coach of the Year was surprising. That one I didn't see coming.
I've got a thing on Lamar Jackson tomorrow. You're going to want to hear it.
Interesting.
You're going to want to hear it as a Ravens guy. I promise. It's going to be great.
Also got my Ravens jersey for Terrell Suggs. Congratulations on your second ring. And if you're going to retirement, I'll see you in Canton.
He should retire. He really should retire.
2 rings, Defensive Player of the Year, one of the top 10 all time in sacks. No better way to go out.
Hall of Famer.
What's up?
Hall of Famer.
No better way to go out and go on top with another ring and go to the Hall of Fame. Be the third Raven in the Hall of Fame with Ray Lewis and Ogden. Oh, fourth. Excuse me, Ray Lewis, Ogden, and Ed Reed. He'd be a fourth.
Perfect.
All
right,
awesome.
Does it for us. Evan Maz, a producer. I'm Mike Guido. This is the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be back tomorrow. See you.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.